God is a God of restoration. Nothing is too hard or impossible with Him. Welcome back to Covenant TV. Marriage is a sacred covenant made in the presence of God and cannot be broken. We've already made that clear in previous videos. But people still come up with all kinds of excuses to desert their spouses, using abuse, adultery, and many other things to leave and marry someone else. Let me make it clear regarding abuse. If you are in that situation, find a safe place to live. However, you are not allowed to divorce your spouse. Once a worldly divorce takes place, you both believe the lie that you are free to marry someone else, and that's where the problem comes in. Your second marriage will then be adultery, because in reality, you are still married to your first spouse, according to God's word. God's desire is to reconcile and restore all things, especially our broken families. And why? Because parents were given a mandate by God to reflect His image to their children for the next generation. That's what He means when He says in Malachi 2:15, "Has not the Lord made them one? In flesh and spirit they are His." And why? Because He was seeking godly offspring. So guard yourself in your spirit and do not break faith with the wife of your youth. But you will not be able to fulfill that mandate if you are living in sin and having illegitimate or non-covenant children from your second marriage. God not only can, but is willing and able to raise the dead, especially dead marriages, because He designed marriage for this reason, to represent His image to our Christian children. All He needs is just one of the spouses in a marriage that has broken down to humble themselves before Him and be available and willing to stand in the gap for the other. This is how He will bring the other who is in rebellion back to their senses. He's able to turn them from their wicked ways back into righteousness, and this will happen in answer to a praying spouse crying out to God on their behalf. It only takes someone who is willing to fight the good fight for their sons or daughters, wives or husbands who have been taken captive by the enemy. God is able and wants to come in and restore families into His perfect order again. This battle belongs to the Lord, but He is calling faithful spouses to stand in the gap with Him. It says in Nehemiah 4:14, "And I looked and arose and said to the nobles, to the leaders, and to the rest of the people, do not be afraid of them. Remember the Lord, great and awesome, and fight for your brethren, your sons, your daughters, your wives, and your houses." He also says in Hosea 4:6-10, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because they rejected knowledge, I also will reject you from being a priest for me. Because you have forgotten the law of your God, I also will forget your children." That's all from me today. Give this video a thumbs up, make a comment, share, and subscribe. I'm Anton. Be blessed.